on our mat sitting. We'll do our cat articulations, spinal articulations. Just shut this door here. Let me know if you can't hear me or anything happens with the audio, because I never know. So sit nice and tall. Oh, I'm just going to switch to gallery view because I just realized if I can, given that I'm not the host. Hang on, I just want to be able to see everybody better. There we go, that's better. Okay, so sitting nice and tall, hang on to your shins and just roll as you exhale back behind your tailbone. And if you feel like your arms are too short for this, you can always hang on to the backs of your legs instead. Once you're back there, just pull yourself straight up, looking straight ahead. So it's almost like we're straightening the whole upper back, flattening the C curve in the neck. So exhale to curl, rounding back and pulling forward. Exhale to curl, send your navel back, spread your shoulder blades. Inhale forwards. Let's do 2 more. Rolling back. And just feel that nice movement from the pelvis really moves before the spine itself, and that way it'll spare your spine too much movement. And then the final one, let's scoop back, hold it back there. And this time, let's keep the arms very straight. You may have to walk your feet out a bit, but tip your belly forwards, your chest forwards, and arch up. So now we're looking up, arms are straight, and then round back, push through the feet or heels, depending on how much of your foot's on the floor. So inhale, we arch, pulling, opening the chest, belly tips forward, and exhale to curl back. And we'll just do 1 more of those, back and forth. And then finish in a fairly neutral-ish position. So just lean straight back. So we're not too slumped, we're not too rigid. Let go, turn your palms up, and just try a few of these single leg marches. So one knee can pick up, other knee can pick up. We'll go for 6, 5, that's it, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then let's circle one arm back, second arm back. You can separate your feet nice and wide. You could go wider than your mat if you wish. And we'll just let the knees wrap side to side. So you can let them fall over to one side and let them rock over to the other side. So it's a little rotation. Go this way and then that way. And just do that a couple more times. So you're letting your knees fall over, let them fall like windshield wipers the other way. And just do that a couple more times. And then with whatever side you end up on, we're going to flip out, take your free hand off so we can swing onto all 4s from here. And if you want to grab your yoga block for this, or book, depending on what you're using there, you can pop I may actually grab my other block for this. Put your left knee on top of your book or your block. If your block is hard like mine, I'm just going to switch blocks, but if you don't have that option, just put a towel or something on it. I'm going to be on quadruped with the left knee on the block, right knee on the floor. Basically just this basic quadruped position. And line your hips up with your shoulders. So in other words, don't sway to the left. And when we're ready, we're going to exhale. Let's pick up the right knee so it's as high as the block. Now, really, we don't need the left hand if we're honest, but you might want to just leave it there just in case. And then pick your right knee up a little higher. So you have to pull your right hip up into the air, then level it off and then put your knee back down. So exhale, level, and then pick your right hip nice and high and then lower. I'll show you from the front. So what the temptation with this one would be to lean to the left to do it, but try to use your abdominals to pick up that knee. And if you want to be a little more hardcore, you could pick up your left hand, just to hover it, pick up your right knee, and then pick up your right knee higher. So I'm not saying you have to do it that way, but just as a little test every now and then, I'm just going to leave my hand down. It's hard to do that extra lift, but let's do that 3 more times, keeping on axis, head in line with our pelvis. Should get a nice feeling in your left obliques. Now the grand finale, we're going to pick the knee up just as high as our block and then put your right foot back behind you so you're on the ball of your foot. Okay, so from here, we're getting ready to do a plank, so you can breathe in, prepare. As you exhale, you can either leave your knee on the block or if you want to work a little harder, pop your left knee off the block. I'm just going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then step your left foot back into full plank, breathe in there. And then from here, we'll migrate into a little downward dog. Just stretch your hips back, breathe in there. Exhale, we come forward, put your knee back on the block. And we'll just do 2 more of those. So now we're sort of resting. We breathe in. Exhale, pick your left knee off the block for 5, 4. That's it. And you can pull your knee closer to your chest if you want a little more lower abdominal work. And then put your left foot back, plank, downward dog, stretch the shoulders a bit. You can bend the knees if that feels better. And last one, I know we've been on our hands a long time, so let's put the knee back down on the block and then hover it, unless your wrists are tight. You can always do this on your forearms too if you want, and then hover for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, plank, into the downward dog, And then from here, let's just rest into child's pose. So you can just lower your knees, move the block aside just to get you off your wrists and hands for a second. Just stretch back. It'd be a modified shell stretch or child's pose. Just take a few breaths to recover. And while you're here, let's turn the palms up. I'll show you from the front. Try to keep your wrists, might as well work while we're here lightly. So wrists in line with the elbows and shoulders. And then from this position, it's like we're offering or presenting tea or coffee to someone. And then from there, turn your left palm down, right palm stays up, and then switch. So you're just rotating over the palms and the forearms. It's not difficult. It's just a nice little rotational movement, and your body can sway a little bit with it from side to side. And we'll just go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And then let's come back up. Let's pop that block now under the right knee. Work your core a little bit. And as I say, if it's too much on anyone's hands or wrists, you can do this. It's very effective on the elbows and forearms too. So if you're doing on the hands, doing this on the hands, index finger straight ahead. So here we go. So straight, long spine. Exhale, pick up the left knee as high as your block. And then try to pick it up higher than the block, but without leaning to the right. And then you just put your knee back down, your navel rotates a bit to the right. So you level yourself, and then you pick your hip up higher, and then you just gradually put the knee down. So let's do 4 more. So up, even higher, and down. That's it, Frankie. Up and down. Let me just take a quicker, closer picture. Yeah, that's it, Sherry, and just keep going. Yeah, so it's just a nice little way. It's not just about the abdominals. You're also getting some glute work in your right hip and a glute stretch too. So last 2. Final one, just level it off. Then shoot your left toes back. So that's your toe stretch, calf stretch position. Getting ready for a plank. As you exhale, pick your right knee off the block for 5. Push into the mat a little bit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Step your right foot back and do a downward dog. Just be careful we don't slip on this mat. This is a very long stretched out downward dog, so just watch your mats there. Breathe in. We come forward, we go into the rest position, right knee on the block, pause. And then again, so pop the knee off the block. If you want more work, you can pull the knee closer to your right elbow. Just try not to round too much with that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step the right foot back, speed up my counting here. Stretch back, downward dog, almost there. Last one, down to the rest on the block. Breathe in there. Exhale, knee off the block without disturbing the alignment of the spine. You can pull it closer to the elbow if you're so inclined. Breathe in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last downward dog. Here we go. Stretch back. And with this down dog, let's actually walk our feet gradually, or hands, doesn't matter which direction, towards hands and feet towards each other. Move the block out of the way, and we'll just roll our way up to standing. Just take your time. And hopefully everyone's good. I'll just tip my monitor up there. Okay, so if you just want to grab, if you have something light you can put in your right hand, I'll mirror you. I'm going to use this block. It's probably going to fall off my hand. I wouldn't use a heavy yoga block for this. Cushion, sure. Let's see how this goes. We could do it without anything, but yeah, nothing you want to drop on the floor. Okay, so you're just standing like this, elbow tucked in. You're going to reach it forwards, but swing your arm in so it crosses your body, then swing it out. We're going to bring it over our head without dropping it on ourselves. So you can see like that. And then I'm going to bring it behind me. So you're allowed to lean over, bring your pillow, whatever it is, hopefully nothing you really care about. And then we come back to the beginning position, okay? So don't worry about perfection here. It's okay to use your fingers to hang on to it, but we reach across the body to the left. Then you swing it over your head. Well, first you go over to the right and then up over the head. And then we internally rotate the shoulder. We bring it behind us and we circle it under. Yes. And then we bring it back. And we'll just do one more. So inhale, you reach across, you spiral it out over the head. You get some spinal motions here, definitely shoulder blade motions. And that's it. Everyone's doing a very nice job from what I can see. And then we'll switch. Oh, we got to drop. Switch hands. Luckily, I think that's a cushion. Okay, so other side. I have taught this in a studio once with a heavy block. That was a big mistake. So don't use your heavy block. So you reach across, you reach behind you, do the big circle over your head. You're allowed to side bend. We do want the spine to articulate. I'm trying not to use my fingers to hang on to this, but we can manipulate the spine to get away with this. So the reach across, open out, bring it over your head. Pretend it's a hot cup of tea. It's actually called the teacup exercise. Hot cup of scalding tea or coffee. And I think we have one more. We're holding a tray of coffee cups or one cup, whatever you want, over the head. basically it's just an excuse to get our shoulder to do a lot of ranges of motion it doesn't normally get to do during the day. Once you finish, we'll hold that block or whatever. Actually, some of you don't have blocks, so let's just put that down now. But put a book or a block on the floor, and we're going to stand 1 foot on it. So if your block is too squishy, not a great thing. So, or maybe it's too small for you, just use a book. Okay, so we've got the right foot on that, whatever it is. Yeah, I see a few blocks. And we're going to just stand on. We're going to do the same thing we did with our knees when we were kneeling with the foot now. So we're just going to go up and down. Really good for the outer hips here. So first, just be able to stand on one leg is a good accomplishment. We need to do this as humans. So we want to pull, maybe put your hand on the outer glute of your right side. You can put maybe on each side if you want, and just pull your right hip down so your left hip is forced to go up, and your leg is just dangling there, your left leg. Then slide your foot down the edge of the block. So you don't necessarily have to look at it. Better to look straight ahead, and you can feel it though if you're on a something. So I'm assuming even a book you could do this with. You can just touch it. So pull your right hip down, left hip goes up, and switch. The legs are straight. So what is moving us? It's mainly your glutes on the right side, a little bit of your core on the side, but. And you then, if it's helpful to leave the hands there, you can just relax in your choice. So let's go for 5, down and up. So jut the hip up, pull the hip in, jut it out, and getting that little dimple in the side of the hip as you pull it in. So last 2, last 1. And when you're all done with that project, let's step down. You can just put your left foot down, other foot down, then we go to the other side. We'll keep it simple. Just make sure your foot's fully on, or if anything, if your toes are hanging off, that's okay, but try to get your heel on for now. Yeah, so make sure you're squared off. Make sure we're not arching the back, ribs are tucked in. You can always, if some of us, maybe the issue isn't we're good at the hip height, so we can just start, but maybe we're arching the back. So you might want to put your hand on your lower back kidney area, your belly, make sure you're not puffing the front up. You want to keep everything sandwiched into the middle. So we'll go for about 10 of these, up and down, just feeling it out. You can pat yourself down wherever you want. Feel that things are moving where you want them. What we don't want is the back to be doing the work. You want the spine will be moving, of course. It's a hip hike. Make sure your knee is straight, not totally locked out, but you want to feel more work in the glute, not so much in your calf muscle. If you're feeling it in your calf, maybe consider you're probably leaning forward a bit too much. So a couple more of these. Okay, and then finish. And once you're all done, step down. We're going to go back to the original side. And the next one will be a curtsy type thing. So we'll stand up on this block. So it's a similar kind of hip jut, but now we're going to bend our knee. So bend your right knee, bend your left knee. Turn your body to your left corner of the room. However, your right knee is still straight ahead. I don't even want to do it because it hurts my knee, but don't let the knee collapse in. So your turn, but your knee has not. Then reach your left arm up by your ear. And you're going to reach this leg back. Actually, let's do it this way. Reach the arm in front. I'm going to go for the reach. Just point like you're shooting the fingers forward. Yeah, and you can just put your baby toe or the edge of the foot down. Now we have to push ourselves back, pull yourself, as I fall over, back onto your block, and we're back to standing. So bend both knees, turn your navel to the side wall, knee goes straight over your big toe. As you reach out, straight ahead, thumb up, just reach back. Try not to put any weight, unless you must, on your left foot. It's all in the block, and let your knee on this block go over your big toe. Think of more weight in the front of your foot, and then we come back up. So let's do 3 more a little quicker. Go at your own pace, but inhale, we sit low. You can always make this bigger or small. If you want it small, you just don't step so big. And then you pull yourself back. So you reach, eyes straight ahead on the thumb. That's it. Nice job there. 2. Pull yourself back. And last one, reach. For those who want a little more, just go a little lower, so like you're a speed skater, and pull yourself up. That's it. And then we'll switch feet. That hip should be burning if you're like my hip. Okay, so left foot comes up. It's a nice one because you're strengthening your glutes while you're lengthening the tissue, so you don't get too rigid there. Okay, so we'll bend the knees a little bit. So get a nice soft knee. Turn your body to your right, but your knee stays straight. And that's the trick. You don't want your knee to collapse. And then you reach straight ahead with your right arm. You look at it, it's very direct, and you just happen to swing this foot. My foot is in line with the block, the reaching foot. And then we come back up. So it's sit back, jut your hip out, let your right hip be lower than your left hip, and then come back. So inhale, we reach and sit low, put the weight into the inner edge of this foot down here on the block. You don't want to keep it on your baby toe side. So you want to pronate your foot. So let the knee go over your big toe, your left knee, that is your left knee. Yeah, that's your left knee. Good, I think we have one more. Is that 5? One more. Go low, go small, whatever feels good. And then pull your way back up. Excellent, so we'll step out into, you might want to turn sideways on your mat depending on your surfaces there, but you can just stack the block up, go for a fairly wide angle here, kind of similar to a yoga pose really, but it's about as wide as our wingspan if we were to stretch our arms out, your choice. And just very, if you're already low to the floor, if you're shorter or just have flexible hamstrings, you can put the block lower. You might not even need the block, but if your hamstrings are tighter, you might just want to hold your hips and not worry about touching anything. Okay, so we're just going to shift our hips side to side. It's like a typewriter carriage, sort of side. Yeah, so the chest doesn't move. We're very light on the block, where we could let go if we wanted to, just to double check, just to make sure we're not leaning too far forward. So the weight is in our heels. Get a nice sensation in that inner hip joint area. And just do this for about 5. See how far you can go each way. It's almost like you're pushing from one foot to the other. So you go to the inner edge of one foot, the outer edge of the other, and then reverse. Okay, a couple more, make sure the knees are straight. And then when you're equal, let's heel toe our way in. We're gonna get ready to sit down. So you can just, up to you, could just move the block out of the way, squat down, come on down, however you want to. We're going to lie down. You can grab your weights for those of you using weights if you want to. You don't have to, but they're there. Some of you have them at home, you might as well use them. Yeah, and you have everything else probably close by. So we'll try to use all the toys that we have. And you can lie down. And the first toy we'll use is the yoga block, which you're going to put, once again, let's put it under the right foot. I'll switch back to this heavy duty block or book, something that feels sturdy, using this trick again. Okay, so the right foot is on the block. The left foot is on the floor beside it. Hips are even, everything else is in line. Let's straighten the left leg out. Okay, so what we're gonna do today is you are going to push into your right foot, which is going to roll you onto your left hip. Your right knee stays stacked straight up in the air. Try to keep your right shoulder more or less down on the mat. And then you just roll back to the mat. We're not lifting the left hip yet. We'll get there in a second. I just want you to get the basic feeling. So I don't know if you can tell, I'm wearing dark clothes here, but yeah, I'm rolling. Maybe I'll do it on the floor. It might be easier to see. So I'm just rolling my pelvis to the left, sort of what we did in the curtsy squat, kind of. Not exactly, but okay. So now we're getting a little more exciting with this. So press, roll onto your left hip. Now flex your left leg and lift your hip up in the air. So basically we're doing a bridge. Your right leg is doing all the work. Well, most of the work, not all. Your right knee is over your big toe. Don't let it collapse inward of your big toe though. Actually, I'm gonna say, let's point the knee over the third toe. That'll make you more honest. Now, if you're feeling good, we're going to lift the left, just kick the left leg up in the air, put it back on the mat, and then you're going to roll your spine down and rock back to the middle. So that's just, we'll just do it like that for a couple of times. So you roll onto your left hip, open your right inner thigh area, squeeze both hips up in the air, and then just do a leg kick with the left leg. That's it. Lower the left leg, lower the left hip, roll down. We'll just do one more. So roll onto your left hip, lift up, kick up. Now stay up and just do 5 single leg lifts. If this is too much, you can just keep the leg down. You can even do a regular bridge if you prefer. I just thought I'd change it up. 3. It's a lot of work for that right hip. 2. 1, lower the left heel. Let's lower the left hip, roll into your center. Switch sides. So left foot. From what I can see, you guys have it. I can see Frankie and I can see Judith, but I can't see anyone else. So hopefully we're all okay. So the left foot is on our blocker book. Very, very casually, just push. Well, I should say, I don't know if it's casual or not, but you push through the left foot. You open your left, sort of the groin area, basically. You're rolling onto your right hip. You should get a nice stretch on your adductors and the inner left inner thigh. Roll back. So just do 2 or 3 of those. We're getting rotation into the spine here. The eyes stay looking at a spot on the ceiling. The knee doesn't collapse in. That left knee, you might have to push it to the left to keep it honest. Now for the lifting part. So you roll yourself onto your right side, press your left knee to the left a bit, squeeze both, well, the right hip up as well. Now kick your right heel up, lower the right heel down, roll down your spine. You'll be too much on the right side, so just rock back to center. So it's roll to the right, squeeze up, kick, single leg kick, lower the right hip, roll back. 2 more. This is pretty complicated to do on a Zoom call. I should have picked something easier. Sorry, guys. Couldn't help myself. I know you can do it. Last one, and we just continue with the leg swing. So, or just stay put if that feels better. So you do 5 legs, challenging your left glute here. doing all the lifting, heavy lifting. 3, in your core, obviously, otherwise you'd fall onto the floor in a puddle. 2, 1, lower that right leg, and we'll just roll everything down. Let's move that block out of the way. All right, hug your knees into your chest. You can rock it out side to side. Let's pull the right knee only, so you can just put your hands over your right shin or under if that feels better. Slide your left leg long on the mat. Okay, and then get your front ribs to relax down, lower back on the floor. Just lift the left leg up and then lower it down without quite touching the mat. Just a simple, basic core exercise. You get a bit of a leg movement, leg stretch. Couple more of those. Now, what if we were to lower the leg but not quite touch the mat? Fold your forehead to your knee in that general direction, and then we'll let go of the shin, put your hands behind the head, curl up nice and high, pull the right knee to the chest like we did that plank earlier, and then we switch legs. So one knee pulls in, one leg reaches out. If that leg is too low for your comfort, try the leg reach a little higher. I'm just challenging a bit lower today. So just keep a nice consistent curl. We'll go for 6, exhale for the reach, inhale in. Just keep it moving, don't go too slowly with these. 3, 2, single leg stretch. Last one, and let's finish with the left knee and right leg long. Rest your head, rest your leg, rest everything, but pull the left knee in. Now we'll do 6 of these single leg stretches with the right leg, up and down. Right leg kicks up, and we're just trying to keep our lower back heavy. Now to do that, you have to keep your front ribs tipped down. You might need a cushion behind your head if that juts your chin out. 2, 1. All right, now we go for the hover. So hover your right leg, core nice and strong. Fold your forehead to your knee, both hands behind the head. Now this time, we're going to pull the right knee in, reach the left leg long, but rotate left elbow to right knee. You might be able to touch it, don't worry if you don't, and switch. Inhale, center, exhale. Just work on the rotation. Although let's say we're trying to go as deep as we can into the hips. We're trying to get as much rotation as we can for spinal health. Obviously the core is working. And let's pick up the pace a little quicker. We'll go double time for 6 and 5. Make sure your head is beak supported. 4, 3, nice and steady through the back of the hips, and 1. And then we finish back and center. Let's rest, feet back on the floor. Grab your 2 weights if you're using weights. Otherwise, we'll just have our arms, both arms in the air. If you're holding weights, palms facing in. We're gonna do a bridge, but a simple bridge, more like a hip lift version. So we're not going to articulate through the spine after all that work we just did. So feel where your feet are. They're about under your knees, maybe a little further out. Just press, span through the 2 feet, lift your hips up, and then just hinge your hips straight down. So everything lands together, everything presses up together. Don't worry about the weights yet. We'll get to them in a second, but let's go for 5, up and down. 4, just feel nice and open across your chest. 3, I can't count. 3 again. I think that was 4, so let's make it 3. 2, just enjoying your hip hinging, perfect hip hinging abilities. Now the final one, let's float up, float the hips up, hold. Now just open the left arm to the left. Don't look at it, but just look at a spot in the ceiling. So how far can we open the arm without disturbing the left hip? So we're keeping level across the pelvis and squeeze the arm back. And we'll just go side to side. So it's like a dead bug exercise. So we inhale, open the right arm, exhale back. So it's subtle, especially if you don't have weights, it might be a little more subtle, but it's still there. It's easy to rotate. So this is an anti-rotation exercise. So you're using your core to not rotate, to not move, even though your arm is moving in quite a wide arc. So let's go for a couple more, one more each side. Right one last, if you like, and then both arms up. Turn your palms forward. Inhale, assuming your weights are light enough, arms arc back. Oops, I'm hitting my wall there. Arms arc back halfway or so, maybe a bit more if you have the range. And then as you roll your spine down, you're gonna curl up and do an ab curl. Swing the arms down to your hips. And then inhale, seesaw your hips up as your arms arc backwards. I'm gonna move because I'm totally hitting my wall. So we go up and then we exhale down, rolling through the spine into the curl. That's it. Inhale, drive your heels into the ground, press your hips up, arms go back. So just make it flow. It's just the seesaw exercise. You will end up being shoved backwards because of the legs being strong. So not to worry, just shimmy down your mat if you hit the wall as I am. And we'll just do a couple more. So you can either do a spinal articulation on the way down or you can just hinge down. Grand finale will just come all the way down into a nice big curl. Inhale, reach a little further. And then let's just put the weights down for a second there. Rest your head. Move one of the weights out of the way. And if you have anything else, just move it out of the way. We just need one weight. We're gonna have our inner thighs together, feet together. And we're gonna do a twist holding our weight. It could be anything, just hold something. Even if you don't have a weight, maybe hold your yoga block or something. Just a little bit of weight is better in this case. Reach the right arm up, holding whatever you have there. Inner thighs energized. And let's see, the left arm will be out to the side, palm up. So we're not gonna move this weight. We're not gonna move the right arm. So that's just reach it way up in the air. So the right shoulder blade is off our mat. Let me just check. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so inhale, this is a twist. So tip both knees to your left, but look at the weight. Look at your right fingers. Reach up with it. Don't let your weight fall over. You tip your knees almost to the floor, but not quite. Let your left knee press into your right knee. Then exhale, rock back to center. Now going the other way is a little different. We'll rock both knees to the right, but keep reaching your right arm up in the air. Don't let your back arch. You may not be able to go quite as far on this side. Maybe you will, I don't know. And then exhale, rock back. So we'll go a little quicker now. So inhale, tip left. Exhale, rock center. Both knees rock right. Keep your left shoulder down. Exhale, back. So if all is well, you should be feeling a nice sense of oblique work, your core, your twisty muscles, and your right shoulder blades nice and up against your rib cage. There's a real sense that you're reaching to the sky with your knuckles or with your weight. So just do one more each way. Eyes are looking at the weight or looking up at the ceiling. There's no neck rotation. Left arm stays grounded, left shoulder stays down. And then we come back to the middle. Let's pull that right elbow down and we'll just pass it to the left. Reach your left arm up now. So the way you reach is important. So you want to reach in a way where you're not rounding or rolling your shoulders in. So reach, but keep spacious across your chest, and the left shoulder head's a little bit off the mat. So right arm out to the right, left palm facing in. So here we go. Let's inhale to the right with the legs, squeeze your inner thighs. Don't let go of the tone in your core, of course. This is not a stretch in the traditional sense. It's more of definitely mobilizing our core, but we're not stretching it in that kind of floppy sense. Well, you might feel some stretches, but we don't want to be too floppy with this. So everything is connected, everything turning together. We're not arching the back to cheat the system here, because we could very well do that. And we'll just do this for 4. That's it. Try to keep that elbow straight. 3. Arm is vertical. 2, that's it here. And coming back to center. Pull the weight down. Let's pull the knees into the chest. Just rock it out for a second. All right, now we're gonna roll over to one side. Come on to a side plank type of position. So anyone who's having a shoulder issue with the planks, you can do side leg work instead. I'll show you where I'm heading with this. So we're gonna do a few planks that also substitute as a good leg exercise. So we'll be in a clamshell position. And if this, as I say, you can certainly lie down without the plank and get the same benefit. Okay, so push your forearm into the mat. So your waist is already engaged, your lower waist, shoulder head is back into the socket. The upper arm, we're gonna, I think it's my right arm, but whatever arm it is for you, is going to reach down to touch the floor just in front of our sternum. Don't overreach, just a slight turning of your chest. Now we're going to pick up our pelvis in the air. Well, you won't do that if you're not in a blank, obviously. Okay, so as we lower the pelvis down, open your top knee, sit down, open your arm. Every time we go up, the knees close, the arm goes down, and then we sit back, we lower. So hip up, knees close. And if you're just doing a regular clamshell, totally fine. Okay, so we'll do one more like that. I think you guys have it. Now just stay in the upper position. Now open the arm, but don't go down. Open the top knee, open the top arm. You can look at your top fingertips and then lower. We'll do 4 more of these. So push down through the bottom leg, and again, you can do regular clamshells or half plank if you don't want to come all the way up. A couple more of these. So that bottom hip should be working nicely, not to mention your shoulder girdle and your core. Last one. It's really not much to do with the top leg, is it? All right, let's give that one a rest. We'll take a seat. If you're okay with the side mermaid sit, or you can have your legs straight if you prefer. And we will side bend. So you'll tuck your feet in so you can side bend and stretch the part of your core that was just working hard in that plank. Just do a couple little pulses, 3, 2, 1, and then we'll ease on up. Let's swing around to the other side. Plank number 2, leg work number 2. As I say, you can do most of this like this, regular clams are perfectly fine. Shoulder head out of the way, lift your waist, and we want to use the legs for leverage. So we push into your shins really to get up, and then we can reach the fingertips forward. And I can't remember how I did this. Oh yes, so we sit down, we open the knee, we open the arm. So the knee and the arm sort of do the same thing. The top knee, we lift the hips, we lower the fingertips, we lower the knee, we open the knee, we close the knee, and just do that version. Kind of the opposite of how I normally do it, isn't it? It has a different effect. It's actually more of a stretch for the bottom hip. Okay, last one, we stay up. So we're turned towards the floor. Now we stay up and we open the arm, open the nice big clamshell, close it up, close your clamshell. The chest turns, the eyes rotate up, the knee, the head, the ribs slightly turn down. So let's do 3. Yeah, that's it, Frankie. 2. And I can see arms. 1. And close, sit down. Let's pull the knees in, Little Mermaid or side sit of some kind. So I just have my ankles wrapped. If that works for you, by all means, have your legs straight if this is awkward. And we side bend over, do our little pulses. You can hang on to your ankles, is it traditional, but you can touch the floor if you prefer. 2, 1, and then we'll bring the arms down. Let's swing the legs in front. We'll finish. If you can just sit, grab the underside of your knees, pull the feet nice and close, pull the knees in, and then just sort of pass both legs under or over maybe your left forearm, and the other arm reaches out. I'll mirror you. Sorry, I just keep shifting here. So like something like this. You're just holding yourself close, reach up, and just reach. Do 3 arm circles. This is a very, very old exercise, old school Pilates. One of my teachers taught me this one in a course. She studied. It was like, I don't think she studied directly with Pilates, but it was the next generation, so pretty close. And then we'll switch. So you hug the other way, and you'll notice if you keep looking straight ahead, and it's the anti-rotation idea. Trying not to rotate is more work than rotating. So big arm circle, last one. All right, and then we'll finish. Either you can just put your arms, just open up the front, something like this, open the knees. If you're feeling in the mood, you can fingers forward and just do a big bridge, lift up. So either way, if your wrists don't like that, open the chest, hands on the floor, couple big breaths in and out. Just do the other one to show you. And slowly release. All right, so thank you. Thanks very much. That looked good from what I could see.